as far as registration is concerned, no separate registration is required for EOU and DTA. Separate registration is required for SEZ and DTA. So EOU you will have to keep in one registration only.
तो जो इनपुट हैं दोनों के और जो असाइनमेंट क्रेडिट है,
बट वो इनपुट के लिए स्पेसिफिक रिस्ट्रिक्शन है EOU की DTA यूजेज में और EOU की क्लियरेंसेज में. There are specific rules provided to it, but it's a technical calculation. I can send you that over an email or something, and you can understand that.
Sir, for the excise refund for the last 1 year.
अभी सर हम EOU में जो एक्सपोर्ट करेंगे.
सर इनका ले लें.
सर एक क्वेश्चन है, LUT उसके लिए LUT बनवाएं या अलग से बॉन्ड बनवाएं या पिछले ही बॉन्ड में एक्सपोर्ट करें?
Sir, ये सब I think in the morning this Mr. Veswal took all these questions. Your existing return
मना किया था, इन्होंने कहा था कि लंच के बाद बताएंगे.
All your existing bonds will continue till 31st July.
But
Post 31st July, you have to give your fresh bonds. If you have received at least 1 crore rupees of foreign exchange in last year, bond is not required, LUT would do.
So there is a question on the old bond.
Okay.
Excuse me. There is a question on the old bond because on the lunch time I asked with our consultant as well as with the some custom officer. So they are still confused. They say that on the old bond because CT1 is not there, ARE1 is not there. So we cannot do any document on the old bond.
So ask them to ask your CHA to pull out a circular which the government has issued on 8th of July, specifically clarifying that old bonds would continue till 31st of July and give it to that officer and tell him to read properly. Then he should give you the.
But can we, whatever suggestions we are getting from your side, if we can follow that and if we will have any disadvantage or we will have any loss, so what commitment we will get from your side? Is any written commitment from your side?
Sir,
no, yeah, of course, because finally loss will be under.
You
under
pay
our
me my
company.
professional fees, I'll give you 100% commitment.
So we are also pay fee for here.
Yeah.
We also pay fee
Sir,
to.
no, jokes
sir.
apart. Jokes
Sir,
apart.
that is-
See,
that is
jokes apart.
Whatever, we are following your suggestions.
Yeah.
If there is any loss, who will bear?
See, so this is very difficult question. So the point is, you want to fix accountability without asking a question in conference without paying the professional fee from a lawyer. You can take accountability from EEPC. I'm fine with that.
We are asking
But-
these questions from many
Okay, so I'll tell you.
consultants.
See, one is you ask me to give accountability. Second is you ask me to give a solution. You want a solution, you have a problem. You write a mail to me. My email address is on the presentation. I'll send you this document. You show this document to the officer. If you still have a problem, come back to me. We'll try and help you. That's all we can do. We can't give you insurance.
Because every consultant having their own answers.
Sorry?
Every consultant having their own answers on the bond issue. Because
No, it has to depend upon some basic background and some background of a document that has been issued by the government. So because it has been issued only a couple of days back, probably when you asked the consultant some 3-4 days back, the answer could have been different.
And
now it could be different.
And also it may be dependent on your particular case for some reasons. You see, sometimes things can depend on case to case basis also. So probably your case has some problem that he is not aware of.
the bond is same for everyone. Bond is same. Bond is same for everyone. The B1 bond is same
The
for
circular
everyone.
is same for everyone.
Yeah.
But your case may be different because of some reason. So maybe because of that the custom officer has some problem. So I think then you have to bring the case to him with papers, then only he can give you that final.
And say, for example, there was some DRI investigation. And
Yes.
you have been issued some show cause notices.
Exactly.
Show cause notices are pending. There is some investigation or some information against your exports. Some illegitimate drawbacks have been claimed. He can refuse to give you the benefit of LUT and ask you for a bond. These are very
Specific questions.
So it may be a special, but on a basis of circular, this thing is available.
The
Yes,
last-
sir. Can we-
Sir, you have told me that for the excise duty on the previous 1 year, the excise duty will be get refunded for the 1 year. So what will be the starting date of the 1 year? It's a financial year or from July? From 1st of July 2000. And if I'm not registered in the excise, no, but I'm so for me also that's applicable.
Let's see. There are different rules for different people. For manufacturers, service providers, first stage dealers, second stage dealers, there is a different rules.
For the manufacturer.
For a manufacturer is eligible to claim deemed credit of excise duties for all its raw materials purchased in raw material to the extent they are lying unsold in the factory. Doesn't mean that you have whatever input or raw material you purchase from 1st July 2016, you will go and take credit. What it means is that you purchase raw materials in last 1 year for 1 crore rupees. Out of which 80 crores you have already consumed, you have made the finished goods and sold. 20 crore rupees of inputs are lying with you either in the raw material form or in the finished goods form. That to that extent you can take the credit.
Okay. For that extent. And secondly,
Provided you have excise document, that document is not more than 1 year old.
Secondly, there is one more question. In the morning, you have told that there are if there are 2-3 invoices, so and one shipment, so you can club all those 3 invoices, the tax invoices, and make one commercial invoice out of it, and one GSTN number will be applicable on that. Now the issue is, if I'm selling a kit, suppose a cricket kit, the bat has been manufactured in Delhi, and the ball has been manufactured in Haryana, and the port is TKD, and I am filing a shipping bill in which I am having one GST number of Haryana and one GST number of Delhi, and I'm making a kit out of it. So how the benefit will be?
So
coming?
see, these are the transactions where some bit of structuring is required. You can't do it like this. If you have on one shipping bill 2 tax invoices with different GSTN, probably IceGate would not take it only.
Yeah, so that's what.
So ideally then what you would do is that both those factories would raise an invoice on the head office.
Okay, so
The head office would then raise a further GST invoice on the customer and would raise the commercial invoice. And by doing this, there would be 2 invoices, but no tax outflow because all these transactions would happen in a month. So there would be no cash outflow of tax.
okay,
So
so instead
maybe-
of having 2 shipping, 2 invoices, different GSTN, so I have to make one tax invoice of one GSTN. It's not possible to have 2 GSTN.
See,
invoice.
practically, Sumit, what you will, 1 second. No, practically what will happen is that you will bring 2 goods from different places to a warehouse where you will make a kit. So that warehouse also, you can make one invoice from, one GST invoice from that warehouse. Okay, then it will become one, practically speaking, unless you do it in the customs bond.
That's
Okay.
what my.
Yeah.
अच्छा, सीधा ही shipment भी भेज के वहीं पे वो-
What we can do now is that we can talk a little bit of refunds. Because I think we all will be very concerned about refunds.
Excuse me, sir.
How do we get refunds?
Sir,
Can we just finish up this refunds thing? I think that will be very important for every one of us. How we can get refunds? How will they be available? What are the time periods? What are the documents? If we can just quickly run over any information that we can get, I think that will be very good for all of us in general.
So I think
Sir, मेरा question भी refund से related ही है.
Before I would leave Mr. Beswal to add, one is they have specifically provided if you are paying output GST on exports without, basically if you are exporting without bond, your shipping bill would be treated as your refund application. Your shipping bill is your refund application, and from that date they have committed, whether it would happen or not is to be seen, but what the government is committing is that within 7 days you will get 90% of the refund. But there are few restrictions to it, provided your GST compliance rating is above 5. If it is below 5, then you will not get 90% in 7 days. 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10.
Sir,
So,
sir, need
Number 1. Number 2, if you are exporting under bond, then shipping bill is not the refund application. You have to file a separate refund application. Now, whether that application can be filed monthly or has to be filed quarterly, to my best of my knowledge, there is no clarification
clarity.
as on date now.
No clarity.
But I am assuming that since government is willing to give refund faster, it should be monthly and not quarterly.
in case of deemed exports,
It's you have already submitted on IceGate. That's it. You don't have to do anything. Yeah.
okay.
Maybe-
Okay.
Yeah, practically.
No, see, practically, I also do not know much because practically nothing has happened. Practically nothing has happened till now. So whatever we could read from the circulars and notifications and acts, etc., we are trying to conjure and tell you. So there are 2 situations. तो सर 2 मिनट रुको ना, 2 मिनट रुको, probably आंसर मिल जाएगा. Okay, so see, there are 2 situations. how you can get the refund. There are two ways of getting refund. One is you export, you pay IGST on the output, on your final product, and export. Right? So we are taking this situation first. When you are paying IGST on your output, at that time, you don't have to file a separate refund application. The shipping bill itself becomes the application for refund. Like in the case of drawback, when you export under shipping bill itself is the drawback shipping bill, and shipping bill itself becomes the claim for drawback.
Make it slightly, sir, this is a very important thing.
Yes.
So when we export, we create two invoices. One is a commercial invoice and one is a GST invoice.
Yes, please.
One is an export invoice, a commercial invoice. One is a GST invoice. We submit to the submit for export, and a shipping bill accordingly will be generated from both the documents.
Right.
And that's the as far as documentation is concerned, we are finished with it.
So that is the documentation. As far as the situation where the refund, where we are taking the IGST paid exports.
Now, where will the refund come?
Now, okay, that I also do not know. But a second, let me just complete on that. The shipping bill is filed, LEO is there, okay? One. Second, EGM is filed by the shipping company.
Yeah.
Okay, so that kind of becomes your claim. Now when the claim becomes payable, they've also mentioned that your return should have been filed. So we're not very sure of that.
So it's not like
Sir,
drawback, because the drawback we can go on IceGate and check what is the status of drawback, why
So
is it held up.
you can probably get that status also on the IceGate, by the way, because everything is now online. You should be able to check the status.
No, like,
But so practically, what will happen is something that sir will tell. What has been there in the newspapers, etc., is that 7 days from the date of export. But what is there in the law is that after export, after EGM is filed, after LEO is there, then after even the return is filed. That is the situation number one when you are paying IGST on the output side.
So let's hear from the bosses then.
no,
Yeah,
just
okay. Now that the officers have come, I think it is better to listen to them. Sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, our all revered government dignitaries have joined us. May I have the honor to welcome Mr. Tejpal Singh, IRS Commissioner Audit, Ministry of Finance. He was earlier Additional DG Export Promotion, Directorate General of Export Promotion, Department of Revenue, Ministry of Finance. He is also heading the Export Promotion segment of GST Working Group. May I also invite Mrs. Vasundhara Sinha, IRS Additional Director General of Foreign Trade, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, and Mrs. Archana P. Tiwari, IRS Chief Commissioner, GST and Central Excise, Department of Revenue, Ministry of Commerce. May I now request Mr. Pradeep Agarwal, Deputy Regional Chairman, EPC India, to kindly present a bouquet to Mr. Tejpal Singh, sir. May I now request Mr. C.S. Shukla, former Executive Director and currently Working Committee Member, EPC India, to kindly present flowers to Mrs. Vasundhara Sinha. May I now request Mr. Rakesh Suraj, Regional Director, EEPC India, to kindly present flowers to Mrs. Archana Tiwari, Madam. Thank you very much, sir. May I now request Mr. Pradeep Kumar Agarwal, Deputy Regional Chairman, EEPC India, to kindly present a formal welcome note and also brief our dignitaries about the topics and the major discussions we have in the earlier sessions today. So.
Mr. Tejpal Singh, Commissioner Audit, Department of Revenue, Ministry of Commerce. Mrs. Vasundhara Sinha, IRS Additional Director and General Foreign Trade, Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Mrs. Archana P. Tiwari, Chief Commissioner CGST, Department of Revenue, Ministry of Finance. Today we had planned a small gathering of 100 people, but we have almost 200. So we can understand the anxiety that people carry in implementation of GST. Everybody is worried, I would not say everybody is worried about GST now, GST is there. I think it's more to do with implementation, understanding the policies and doing the right thing, not being caught doing the wrong way it should be done. So I think a lot of issues have been clarified, but there are a lot of others which still remain to be answered. A lot of us are from MSME, and we don't carry that sort of professional team with us. So we are more on one-to-one basis, trying to understand whatever are our issues. We have had 3 seminars, and 2 being on import and export, because our focus was more on import and export. Your coming today is a big strength for us, because then we know that we have a good information, good backing from you. Friends, nowadays we can see that the officials from the ministries are moving from one place to the other and are seriously concerned about implementation of various policies, GST being the latest. This is a very big step, and we really, as industry, appreciate that. We would request the officials concerned that please take some of our suggestions, some of our issues to the ministry back, because some of them seem to be very serious, and in fact we can tell that some of us exporters have not even started exporting because of not being very clear about the policies, and some things need to be looked into. We'll be listening to all our dignitaries today, and later we'll also have some question and answer session. So thank you once again to the dignitaries to have come. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. May now request Mrs. Vasundhara Sinha, IRS Additional Director General of Foreign Trade, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, to kindly say a few words, ma'am.
Office bearers of EEPC, my esteemed colleagues on the dais, members of the audience, I congratulate EEPC in organizing this event, and I commend the audience here for taking such a keen interest in this. I presume, I am sure that the morning session was useful and it has already answered your queries. As you are aware, GST has brought about a significant change in the way we conduct business and in the way the government handles the indirect taxes part of the way you conduct business. It has revolutionized things. Obviously, there are teething problems. Obviously, there are certain apprehensions and anxieties. All I can say is that the system has been designed to make things smoother. And if there are anxieties and apprehensions, it's only because we are either not aware of them fully, or because these are transitional times and things will stabilize very, very shortly. As it is, there has been a flurry of notifications and circulars which have been issued in the last 10-15 days. Things would be clarified still further in the days to come, and we will get down to business. We will settle down to business very soon. Having said this, I do not wish to make it an address as such. I would like eventually, if not immediately, probably after the other speakers have spoken, to make it a question and answer session so that we can deal with specific issues instead of merely making it theoretical. Thanking you once again.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Certainly, we'll be having a question-answer round later on. May now request Mrs. Archana P. Tiwari, IRS Chief Commissioner, GST and Central Excise, Department of Revenue, Ministry of Finance, to kindly say a few words, ma'am.
Thank you. Members of the Engineering Export Promotion Council, members of the trades, I really feel privileged to be called upon here to address this session. I can see since morning lot of programs on various topics covering export, import, changes brought by GST regime, FTP, MEIS, and other things have been covered. I think it would have educated you well by now. All of us know that this tax reform initiative by Government of India is a result of a long drawn struggle for the last 15 years, and we have been able to bring a single tax regime after a long time. It certainly has the potential to bring great changes. I can understand that in the initial days, for you as implementers, actually the people who are doing import and export, and for us as tax authorities, this system is new. You will have certain problems which you will encounter in day-to-day business dealings and all that, but I want to assure you from the government side that we are aware of it. We are time and again sensitizing our officers. I have just come here to convey to you the message of the government that we are very sensitive to your issues and problems. So many Seva Kendras and all have been opened by all our offices of the GST commissionerates to help you out. Any queries can be addressed to those centers for anything. And then government is coming out every second day, I see in the newspapers, day before on exporters, a big thing like FAQ type of a thing is issued by us also, by CBEC, as well as it is coming on a daily basis. In case you have your queries and all that, we are here to help you out. So whatever is there, there was a lot of misunderstanding regarding bond and LUT, that also has been clarified by the government in its circulars which are issued by the CBEC. So we should be able to address it, and we all have to see that it is a major reform. It's not a negative thing. So everything has been subsumed into that. Initially you might have certain issues, but please feel free to contact the offices. Please feel free to refer to our officers to sort out your problems. We are there to help you. So please, that is what I want to see. I don't want to give you any lecture or anything. We will be answering, trying to best answer your queries, whatever they are there. Tejpal is there. He has been there for a long time in export, and many of you must be knowing him also. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Definitely, we need your constant support, and thanks a lot for instilling confidence amongst the industry. And with your support only, there could be a smooth transition possible into the new system. May now invite and request Mr. Tejpal Singh, IRS Commissioner Audit, Ministry of Finance, for a keynote address and a presentation, sir.
Sri Pradeep Agrawal ji, his colleagues, respected Madam Archana Pandey Tiwari, Chief Commissioner GST Delhi, Vasundhara, Additional DGFT, faculty, and my dear friends. I'll be speaking to you on issues around export. Yes, as has been said in the introduction, I also had a sectoral group on export as an ADG export promotion has been instrumental in reaching out to what we see in terms of the refund provisions in GST. We have worked a lot for last almost a year. We have been working on it. In the background, in close consultation with FIO, CII, DGFT, DOC, we work very closely with them. Before I take your questions, I thought maybe that many of you may not be aware of the more finer points at broader policy level with respect to issues concerning export or export promotion schemes. I'll be slightly faster so that you get more time to ask your doubts. But in case you want me to spend some more time on the presentation on a particular issue, I'll be happy to do that. The issues which I'll be dealing in my presentation are the general provisions with respect to GST law in context of export, LUT and bond provisions. A refund is now an important part of export, so I'll be spending some time on refund provisions, how SEZ would work in GST regime, how EOU would work, and how it's going to impact some of the other export promotion schemes currently in operation. With respect to general provisions on export, there is a definition of export of goods, there is a definition of export of services in the GST law. I'm not going to spend time on that. The good part is that the export of goods and services have been zero rated, and how zero rating is to be achieved is given in the law itself, which means that it will operate through a process of refund, and there are two options to the guy who is exporting, or a firm or a company which is exporting goods. One, they can supply goods or services IGST free under a bond or an LUT and can claim the refund of unutilized input tax credit lying with them, or they pay IGST at the time of export, and the IGST which has been paid at the time of the export would be refunded back to the exporter. That's how the government intends to achieve zero rating of the goods being exported. Now, there are a few questions which have been raised around LUT or bond, and I thought it would be proper that I'll take this opportunity to let you know as to category of exporters who will file an LUT, who will file bond. If it is a bond, what would be the amount of guarantee, bank guarantee, what would be their duration? Is it going to be a shipment-wise, consignment-wise, or is it going to be a year, 2 year, or is it a running bond? So, as far as LUT is concerned, letter of undertaking is concerned, any status holder as per FTP paragraph 5 can avail the facility of LUT, or any other exporter who in the last financial year, if he has get 10% of his total export payment back, that means that if somebody has exported say about 50 crore, at least 5 crore rupees worth for an exchange must have come back to him in last 1 year, subject to the condition that it should be a minimum of 1 crore. That means a small or medium exporter who has done just say 2 crore of an export, it would not be 10%, but it would be at least 1 crore he should have got. That is, the 50% of his remittance should have come back to him to make him eligible for an LUT. Now, there is a minor condition that the person should not have, the firm should not have been prosecuted for an evasion of tax to an extent of 2.5 crore. That's a general safeguard, that that kind of a facility should not be available to unscrupulous people. The issue is that how long this LUT would be there. A letter of undertaking would generally be for a year, starting from a financial year, and after every year it can be renewed. Anybody who is not covered under LUT, all those exporters will necessarily, if they have to pay, if they have to send their goods without payment of IGST, will have to file a bond. Now, the value of the bond will vary from state to state depending on the requirement of the state, But for how much amount this would be, this amount has to be determined by the exporter himself or herself. I mean, it is not the business of the tax inspector to tell him how much is the bond amount, because your bond amount must cover at least the tax involved on the exported goods. If at times it falls short of, you can come with an additional or a supplementary bond. Of course, it's going to be a running bond, which means there'll be a debit and a credit facility, so it will not expire unless you want it to get over. The amount of bank guarantee would be determined by the Commissioner GST depending on the track record of an exporter, which means that he is at liberty to allow it at completely without a bank guarantee. Yogendra, you can come here. This is my colleague, Yogendra Gaur. So, the amount of bank guarantee would be dependent on the track record of an exporter. It could be zero amount, but in any case, the law says that it would not exceed more than 15% of the amount of bond. But 15% is not usually which should be taken. That is not the intention. Now, the bond shall be furnished on a non-judicial stamp paper. I have already told you of a value as applicable in the state in which it is being furnished. And what do we do in the transition period? That has also been provided, that any exporter which has got an existing LUT or a bond